Do you have apple trees, pear trees, or perhaps cherry trees growing by your homestead? Elder Amos Yoder began in his calm voice, seated beneath the spreading branches of an ancient oak. His gaze rested gently on Reuben Zook, the young apprentice eager for knowledge. Write to us where you come from, and tell us which fruit delightfully sweetened your year. These simple questions were an invitation not only to share stories, but to open a door to secrets carried through generations. Elder Amos motioned to Gideon Lapp, his trusted helper, who had spent countless summers alongside the groves. Young Reuben, tending to a garden is much like tending to a family. Pruning the branches that crowd each other is not destruction, but a thoughtful clearing that allows sunlight to pour in, nurturing the ones that will bear fruit with strength. Gideon nodded, recalling how Thaddeus Hilty, the seasoned orchardist, patiently showed him the art of gentle cuts. Thaddeus always reminded me, a cut made with care is like telling the tree you respect its growth, he added quietly. Miriam Silas Byler, the village elder known for his patient counsel, joined the conversation. Watering, he said, is a sacred ritual often misunderstood. The best time to quench thirsty roots is in the softness of the morning or in the quiet hours before evening settles. We must not rush this, for the earth drinks slowly, and the tree can absorb deeply only when given time. Silas's experience echoed truth. He had seen too many young gardeners neglect this gentle practice, watering midday under fierce sun, only to worry about wasted efforts. Reuben listened intently, his youthful curiosity awakening as he imagined the trees standing tall and strong. Do trees sense us? He asked, eyes wide. Can they feel kindness like we do? Leah Fisher, keeper of traditions, responded with a knowing smile. Yes, child, she said softly. Just as we place our faith in the roots beneath the soil, trees thrive on the spirit we bring. Speak softly, touch gently, and you will find their growth mirrors the care you give. They remember love as much as water and soil. Think of a tree as a reflection of a person, Amos continued, his gaze thoughtful. Its roots are like faith, unseen but essential, digging quietly into the earth, gathering strength. Its fruits are deeds, the tangible good we offer the world. If you nurture the roots and prune the branches carefully, the harvest will be abundant. His words combined the physical practice with the spiritual essence, reminding all that gardening was more than a task. It was a way of life. The process of pruning came alive through the hands of Thaddeus Hilty, whose calloused fingers had shaped many orchard seasons. We do not cut haphazardly, Thaddeus advised, demonstrating precise snips. We seek to remove branches that cross, that crowd, or that show weakness. In this way, we protect the main limbs, allowing them to gather the sun's goodness without competition. His gentle, deliberate motions spoke of patience and respect, qualities that transformed pruning from labor to art. Gideon, morning and evening watering were also rites of connection. When dawn breaks, Miriam said, the earth is ready to welcome the gift of water without losing it to evaporation. Evening's calm offers a cooling embrace, helping roots to drink deep before night's rest. But midday water can scorch, pushing the tree to strain. She smiled softly. We water as we live well, with awareness and gentle intention. Amos reminded Reuben that gardens were not only nurtured by hands, but by spirit. Our kindness speaks to the trees just as surely as the sun or rain. A hurried, harsh touch does not hide. Trees feel us, and when we approach with respect and calm, the bond strengthens. Leah nodded, sharing how her mother taught her to greet each sapling with a quiet word, believing it carried blessings. Comparing tree and person brought the lesson home. Our faith, like roots, holds us steady through unseen storms, and our good deeds, like fruit, feed those who look to us. Caring for the garden is caring for the soul, a tradition passed from ancestors who knew the land in ways we strive to remember, Amos said, gazing beyond the orchard's edge. His voice wrapped the moment in a tapestry of history and hope. Reuben felt the weight and warmth of these teachings settling in him. This was gardening not merely as cultivation, but as communion, a patient, reverent dance with nature's rhythms. How striking it was, he thought, that cutting a branch or releasing a drop of water could carry meaning beyond the surface. The garden thrived when touched by steady hands and kind hearts. With the sun tracing its arc higher in the sky, the quiet talk turned toward tending the harvest that summer promised. The elders emphasized balance, pruning to shape, watering to sustain, speaking tangibly and tenderly to trees who needed not only care, but understanding. As the afternoon breeze whispered through the leaves, the group prepared to share this knowledge with all who wished to listen, weaving old stories with new days. Their conversations, rich and deliberate, flowed easily into lessons yet to come. The ways of gentle pruning, steady watering, and heartfelt connection were fundamental, but the orchard invited continual learning. Elder Amos smiled as Reuben listened with the eagerness of youth, ready to embrace this heritage. Together they stepped forward, roots sunk deeply, eyes turned toward growth, prepared to journey further into the art of living harmoniously with the earth. The art of watering with patience and respect. Do you have apple trees, perhaps pears, or maybe cherry trees growing near your home? Elder Amos Yoder began softly, his voice like a warm breeze carrying ancient wisdom. Write to us from where you tend your land and tell me, which fruit has tasted the sweetest this year? He paused, eyes twinkling behind gentle wrinkles, before continuing. In the heat of summer, the garden speaks to us if only we listen with patience and respect. Beside him, Gideon Lapp nodded quietly, his hands folded, absorbing every word as if it was a sacred text. Elder Amos's gaze shifted to Thaddeus Hilty, the seasoned gardener whose hands bore the stories of countless seasons. Thaddeus, would you share with us why we prune our trees at this time? The older man smiled slowly, the sun casting silver on his hair. Pruning, you see, is like tending to the soul of the tree. We cut away the excess branches, not out of cruelty, but kindness. Removing these outgrowths allows sunlight to reach the inner boughs, strengthening the tree's heart. It grants more energy to the branches that bear the sweetest fruit. His voice was steady yet tender, as if each word was a gentle touch upon the timber. Nearby, Miriam Stoltzfus, the keeper of orchard lore, added softly, "We prune with care, never too much at once. The tree's balance is delicate. Too many cuts cause stress, and the tree can shut down. We follow the pattern set by those who came before, letting the tree tell us where it needs help. The fresh wounds seal with the morning dew and heal with the sun." She glanced lovingly at a young twig, now bare but promising. Every snip we make invites life to flow clearer to the fruit that will nourish both body and spirit. Reuben Zook, youthful and curious, raised his hand hesitantly. "Elder Amos, why is it best to water the garden slowly during morning and evening hours? I have seen others hurry with buckets under the midday sun." Leah Fisher, guardian of tradition, smiled kindly at the boy. "Ah, Reuben, that is the sacred rhythm you have noticed, but not yet understood fully. Gideon, would you explain?" Gideon inclined his head, his voice calm and measured. "Our wise neighbor, Silas Byler, taught me this. Watering in the heat of the day rushes the plant's life force, burning tender roots as the sun bakes the soil. When we pour our care slowly during dawn or dusk, the water seeps deep, nourishing roots without shock. It is not just watering, it is communion. Each drop is a prayer for balance." He looked toward the horizon, where the gentle light bathed the orchard in gold. Leah continued with a serene certainty, "This is how we honor the plants and the earth. In those tranquil moments, trees seem to lean toward us, sensing our kindness. Elder Amos once told me that trees remember kindness. They can feel the gentle touch of a hand or the soft words breathed into the breeze. She cupped her hands over her heart and then extended them as if offering a gift. When watering, speak softly, not just to the trees, but to the spirit that lives within them. Amos nodded, his voice a bridge between past and present. Imagine a tree as a person. Its roots are faith, deep and anchoring, unshakable beneath the surface. The trunk stands for steadfastness, bearing the weight of life. Branches spread like our deeds, reaching out with intentions. And the fruit is kindness made visible, the good we do carried to others. Care for each part with equal devotion. Thaddeus offered an example, voice seasoned by years of observation. When I prune, I talk to the branches as if they were old friends. Grow strong, I whisper. Carry the fruit well this season. I believe the tree listens, responds in its own silent way. We all are part of this dance, the gardener, the tree, the earth, and the sky, each giving life. He flexed his fingers, worn but steady, like the steady rise of dawn. Miriam added another layer of meaning. Sometimes, after watering, I place my hand on the bark and feel a pulse. It is calming, grounding. That moment teaches patience. Watering is no race but a ceremony, a steady rhythm respected by the tree and its caretaker alike. She glanced around at the group, the warmth of the shared moment radiating. We learn the language of our gardens by watching and listening, not by forcing. Reuben, Elder Amos said gently, you may ask many questions, but the garden gives answers in silence. The longest conversations happen without words, in the cooling air of evening or the stillness before dawn. The boy's eyes sparkled with new understanding. Come, walk with me through the apple trees, Amos invited. Let me show you how to place your hands, how to breathe the same air as these silent sentinels. They moved slowly, each step deliberate, as leaves rustled softly above. See how the cooling air helps slow the tree's thirst, Amos whispered. Notice the steady drip of water seeping into the earth, steady like a heartbeat. This is how life grows, by patience, by respect, by steady hands that do not hurry. Gideon followed, explaining how each tree required its own measure of water, never more than it could drink, never less than it needed. Years ago, Leah offered, old Silas said, a garden hurried is a spirit disturbed. His words ring true still. Come evening, the sky cools and the roots open like a quiet cup, ready to drink. Water then is a blessing, not a task. Our hands pour love, our hearts send gratitude. Her words seemed to settle like soft rain on the dry soil of the mind. Amos stood before a gnarled apple tree, strong and full of character. Each tree in this orchard is a living story. Through the careful pruning and reverent watering, the tales grow richer each year. The fruit we harvest is not just food. It is a gift of patience and respect, passed down from those who walked this land long before us. Gideon added, the garden teaches us humility. We shape the trees, but we also learn to yield to their wisdom. Patience is the greatest gift given to us by the summer sun and the earth below. Reuben, watching closely, was already thinking of how this knowledge would shape his own hands as he cared for the small orchard his family tended. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows through the rustling leaves, Miriam spoke in a voice full of reverence. To care for the garden is to care for ourselves. When we water slowly, prune carefully, and speak kindly, we nurture a sacred balance. This balance honors the spirit in the tree and the quiet heart in us all. She smiled with a calm certainty that could only come from deep remembering. Elder Amos looked around at his companions, warmth glowing in his eyes. Our work is a slow river flowing through generations. What we do today shapes the harvest of tomorrow. Let us move gently, water mindfully, and honor these living friends as they carry the faith of roots and the fruit of deeds. With a final breath of contentment, he guided the group toward the small cabin where they would gather to share stories and rest. The air was quiet save for the soft sounds of evening, promising the patience of another day soon to come. Through such moments, one learns that caring for the garden is not merely toil, but a sacred dance, one that prepares the soul for what lies ahead. In gentle hands and steady hearts, the orchard thrives, ready for the season's next tender chapter. Speaking softly to the trees and living in harmony. Do you have apple trees, pear trees, or perhaps some cherry trees growing in your garden? Elder Amos Yoder began, his voice gentle and calm as the sun warmed the morning air. We welcome your letters telling us where you come from and which fruit tastes the sweetest this year. Such stories remind us that the earth connects us all, no matter the distance. His eyes twinkled with kindness as the gathered neighbors leaned in closer, eager to absorb the wisdom passed down through many seasons. Beside him stood Gideon Lapp, quietly nodding, ready to add his voice when needed. Amos continued, "One important secret to a thriving garden is the careful trimming of branches. Thaddeus Hilty, a patient and skilled gardener, often reminds us that removing the extra limbs is not about cutting away life. Instead, it is about allowing the sunlight and fresh air to reach all parts of the tree. When the tree receives this gift, the remaining branches grow stronger, the leaves greener, and the fruit sweeter. It is as though the tree breathes more freely and shares its strength with us." Miriam Stoltzfus chimed in softly, "Imagine each branch as a path for energy. When too many paths overlap or crowd, none can carry the power well. Pruning reorganizes the paths wisely to sustain life. As you prune, remember to observe with patience," Amos advised. "Do not rush the snips, for each cut carries meaning. A clean cut made with care invites healing, while a careless one may invite harm." Thaddeus demonstrates this well under the old maple tree, always choosing the right place with a patient gaze. Nearby, Silas Byler, the community's thoughtful advisor, stroked his beard thoughtfully before adding, "There is an art not only in how much to cut, but in the kindness we bring to the act. Trees respond not just to shears, but to the spirit of the gardener." When the conversation turned towards watering, Amos's voice grew even softer. "Never water your garden hastily. The time you choose to give water matters deeply. Early mornings, just as the day begins, are gentle moments when the earth eagerly drinks. Evening hours, when the sun lays down its warmth, are also precious, allowing moisture to soak in slowly without being taken by the heat." Gideon nodded in agreement. "We must respect the rhythm of nature's thirst, not just our own desire for quick results." Leah Fisher, the keeper of traditions and ceremonies, shared a memory. "In my youth, my grandmother taught me to speak softly to the trees while watering. She would whisper simple words of thanks and encouragement, believing the trees understood kindness. Perhaps it sounds strange to those outside our community, but when you pause to listen, you feel a conversation begins. The leaves seem to shimmer with approval, and the branches lean as if in greeting." Reuben Zook, the young apprentice, eyes wide with curiosity, asked, "Do trees really feel us, Elder Amos?" Amos smiled fondly at Reuben. "In the ways we measure with our hearts, yes. Think of a tree as a person, bound to the earth by its roots, just as we are bound by our faith and values. Its roots drink deep of the soil's wisdom, much like our spirit's anchor in tradition. The fruits it bears are like the actions we take, the good deeds and kindness we sow in the world." Miriam added thoughtfully, "Just as we nurture our souls with study and prayer, trees must be nurtured with gentle hands and patient love." Silas spoke then, "When a gardener respects the tree, works with its natural shape, rather than forcing it to conform, harmony grows. The tree thrives and returns its gifts abundantly. This is a lesson for the garden and for life itself." In our community, tending the orchard is more than cultivation. It is conversation, care, and respect woven together daily. Thaddeus nodded. "Each year, I watch the trees respond to touch and tone. Even a whispered encouragement can inspire a harvest more bountiful than one summoned by force." A garden that flourishes in summer's heat is one where the gardener listens as much as acts, Amos reflected. Never underestimate the power of calmness and kindness. When we approach a tree with a quiet spirit and steady hands, it grows in health and grace. This is the gift we share, handed down from our ancestors. Reuben's questions stirred memories in Leah, who said, "Respecting traditions does not mean standing still. We learn and adapt, always guided by the wisdom of those who came before while caring for what grows today." Miriam concluded gently, "The garden is a living story, each branch a sentence, each leaf a word in the tale of life. When we trim, tend, water, and speak kindly, we write chapters filled with healthy growth, vibrant fruit, and harmony. Let us walk gently with our trees, honoring the sacred trust between gardener and earth." The group nodded quietly, their hearts touched by the shared understanding. As the afternoon waned, the community lingered, voices soft and deliberate, weaving tales and lessons that would nurture not only their gardens, but their souls. In the quiet understanding between man and tree, a timeless dance continued, a dance of faith shaping fruit, of roots anchoring wings, and of kindness blossoming beneath summer's watchful sky. For in tending nature's garden, they tended each other, planting seeds of harmony that would bloom for generations. With this gentle wisdom settled firmly in their hearts, they prepared to welcome the next season's challenges and joys, carrying forward the sacred art of living in true balance with the earth around them.